What's going on, yo? This is your boy E2 Blue coming at you again with another video. Yeah, it is. What's today? Monday? Forgot what today was. But anyway, the NFL Combine started today, and this is the week going forward that we're going to see all of these draft picks, and we're going to see their medicals. We're going to learn more about these draft picks, and we're going to have a better idea how these players are gonna be viewed, obviously, and where they're gonna slide down, whether they're gonna drop in a draft or they're gonna raise. Now, a lot of these players in this draft are very athletic, and again, when people see athleticism, they confuse that with their ability to play. Not saying that they can't play, but a lot of players get into this league based off of their athletic ability. They get drafted high, then they get with a team, and sometimes we become a bust. Sometimes they take longer to become a role player, and other times they just don't turn out well at all. Now, it's hard to decipher what is what, but you cannot look at a player and just look at him jumping out of the building or bench pressing the whole daggone weight or whatever the case may be, hitting world records, whatever that they're doing, the fastest guy in the 40-yard dash. Don't be confused by all of that. You have to look at the whole body of work with these players. Now, that's what me and these other YouTubers that are out here, shout out to Mark, DMV, Dallas Cowboys, Law Nation, all of us, getting things done, just trying to, show you guys, hey, look at things from a broad perspective, not just to the point that just one dimensional. You got to look at it all different ways. Now, I'm gonna hit a couple of topics tonight. I got about 4 or 5 more players. Now, if you guys heard me on Mark's channel last night, I made a cameo on there, and I talked about 2 guys. I'm gonna go over them again, just in case you guys didn't get it. Now on my channel. Now again, if you guys didn't know, if you were living under a rock, you should know by now if you're a real Cowboy fan. The Cowboys do have 10 draft picks this year. And 4 of those are compensatory picks from the players that we lost from last year, the ones that are with other teams and doing pretty good. Now, we got our first, we got our second, we got a third, we have 2 fourths, 2 fifths, 2 sixths, and a 7th. So our first pick is pick number 19. Our second pick is pick number 50. Our third pick is pick number 81. Our fourth pick is pick number 116. And the next fourth pick is 137. The first fifth pick is 171. The second fifth pick is 173. The first sixth pick is 193. The second sixth pick is 208, and the 7th round pick is 236. Now, we may not keep all of these draft picks because, again, we have 10 draft picks now. There's no way in the world you're going to be able to hit on all 10 of these draft picks. I mean, that's too much like right. That's damn near perfect. Nobody's perfect with mocking this draft. Like, there's no way we're going to get 10. Now, if we get at least 5 or if we get at least 4 or 5 of these players that become good core role players for this team, that would be awesome. Now, with these 10 picks, now this year is new that they allow you can trade your compensatory picks now that you can do that, and which is great for the Cowboys because it comes on a year where we have 4 of them, and now that we got 4 of them, we can do what we please with them. Now, I don't think that I really doubt we're going to stay pat and sit at our picks and choose all 10 of these players. It's not going to happen. I know that when the draft comes, there's going to be players that rise and there's going to be players that fall. And there's going to be players that the Cowboys are looking at and they're going to want to move up or move back. Now, with that being said, there are maybe 2 players in the first round that I personally would like them to move up to if it came down to that. But the way these quarterbacks are going to be going off the board and some of these wide receivers are really good too, we may not have to worry about that. We may actually be able to sit, at least in the first round, we may be able to sit at 19 and choose our 19th pick and actually get who we want. Now, that would be awesome. So, with that being said, I'm going to start off with a couple players. So, I was looking at Michael Gallup. Now, you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys that were looking at some of the draft stuff, you guys know who Michael Gallup is. He's a wide receiver out of Colorado State. Um, he's 6'1", 198 pounds. Now, I'm going to read off some of his stats from his senior year. So, he's projected to be in the third round. I doubt that it stays that way. I'm pretty sure that he might go up to the second round with his athleticism, and depending on what he does in the combine this week, we'll see. I mean, I see him moving up to the second round from the third. So, 2017 at Colorado State, he had 100. He entered the season with 100 receptions, 1,418 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Now, they say that he runs solid route. He has great hands, so he's almost like a smaller version of Dez. And he's a go get the football type of guy. You know, if the ball's in the air and it's in his facility, he's gonna put his hands on. Now, he's not gonna let the receiver, try to. I mean, if anything, they'll bat it away, but he's not gonna let the receiver get it. He's gonna fight to the very end. I really like Michael Gallup, and he's a possibility. But the thing is, I don't think the Cowboys are looking too much for a wide receiver. If anything, they might just draft a young one to complement what we already have. Because I'm going to talk more about Dez in the end of this because I got some stuff to say about that. But I don't think that they're going to get rid of Dez. He's most likely still going to be our number one wide receiver. And we still have Terrence Williams on tap. So these guys aren't going nowhere. So whether you guys like them or not, they're going to be here. So just take that for what it is. So my next person is Roquan Smith. Now, you heard me say a couple of minutes ago that about moving up in the draft and who would I want to move up in the draft for. Now, Roquan Smith is the best linebacker in this draft. Now, I don't know how much that's saying because of the simple fact that there's not that many linebackers in this draft this year that are decent. I mean, there's like maybe 4 or 5 that are worth drafting anyway. And my dog's whining. What's wrong, Coco? I'm sorry. I got to feed her. I'm sorry. I've been neglecting her. So, So, Roquan Smith. He's a weak side linebacker out of Georgia. 6'1", 225 pounds. Now, this guy's an athlete. I mean, he is a finisher when it comes to tackling. I mean, he is what the Cowboys need. Like, I would love to have Roquan Smith. Even, like, Dallas Cowboys writers and editors, they're salivating over this guy. Like, if for some reason he falls to 19, Cowboys got to get him. There's no, because me personally, him and Vita Vea are the 2 defensive guys that I want them to get in the first round. Either Roquan Smith or Vita Vea. If they get either one of them, I'm good. I'm gonna be jumping. I'm gonna be jumping out of wherever I'm at the time. I mean, I'm gonna take a drink for each and every one of y'all because that's gonna be a win-win. Now, if we did select Roquan, how would he fit? You say? So you got a couple of options. You can use him as a rotational player between Sean Lee and Jalen. Because Jalen's starting, he's not going nowhere. You can put, if you want, you can move Sean Lee back to the middle. You could put Jalen on the strong side, and then you use Roquan on the weak side. And you start with that in the game with DeMarcus Lawrence and whoever we get in a draft for a defensive line up front, and David Irving. Come on. I mean, don't that sound good? I mean, to me, that sounds good. Now, again, if he's still available, he will be a great addition, especially if we can't get Anthony Hitchens back. Because at this point, I'll be honest with you, I'm about 85% sure that Anthony Hitchens won't be back on this team, only because of the money. The Cowboys definitely want him, but the problem is, can they get him, or can they keep him, rather? I don't think so. And you already know where he's going to go. I've said this in videos in the past. He's going to the Colts. And I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere else. But because of our old linebacker coach, Matt Eberflus, is with the Colts, I'm pretty sure that's where he's going to go. Because that was his guy. And normally when coaches leave, they try to take players. Any player that's on free agency, they're going to try to snatch him. It's like a shopping spree. It's like, thank you. And the Colts have a lot of money. They're under the cap, so they got money to spend, and they can give him a nice contract. And to be honest with you, if he does go to the Colts, I'll be happy for him because he deserves the money. I mean, when he got, you guys know, when he got injured this past season, I mean, we thought he was going to be gone for the season. He was only gone 3 games, and he came right back, and he was a tackling machine. And I mean, I was always high on Hitchens ever since he first came to this team. Because you remember when Hitchens came on our team in the beginning, they literally put him in different positions. When Sean Lee was out, they put him in the middle. Then he was in Strauss. He was at weak side. And I mean, he just moved around, and he played all 3 positions. Now, if you guys ever played football, especially at the linebacker position like I did, playing all 3 positions, I mean, that's especially like inconsistently like that, like this way, this way, this way. I mean, it's not easy to keep flipping around like that. And that's one thing that people don't understand. Like, when you're used to a certain position, people think, oh, it's the same position. It's just different. Yeah, it's different. It's the same positions, but it's different reads, it's different calls, it's different ways that you attack the offense in these different, and you have different roles to play in these different positions. So, I mean, that's one thing that you guys got to understand. Like, when it comes to the game of football, it's not as easy as you think it is. It's easy as far as if you're obviously if you have common sense, but once you learn the game and you understand, if you're a fan that loves football and actually delves into what plays are and what schemes mean, you can get a better understanding of why certain players don't do well with certain teams and do well with other teams. You know, that's with coaching, that's with the position, that's with the scheme fit. I mean, everything has the mesh for a certain individual player to come. And that's why these scouts are important. And that's the reason why it was good that we kept Will McClay, because, you know, scouting, drafting guru such as himself, I mean, lately we've been getting pretty good guys in here. You know, again, nobody is perfect. I mean, I'm not saying Will McClay is definitely not God. He can't depict that, hey, every guy is going to be a hit, because that's just how it works. Every guy is not going to be a hit. And at the end of the day, you have to roll with the punches, and you got to be confident on who you're getting. And that's why I said being a scout is hard, because you're going to get praised for getting that guy, and if that guy don't work, they're going to be looking at you like, the hell did you get on this team? And you longtime Cowboy fans know what happened with Bobby Carpenter. I know y'all remember that one. I'm not even going to go into that. Just, you guys know. And then, of course, we get players that, like Amendola, that, you know, we give up on too fast, and then they go to another team and they become dominant and they have a great career. Who knows? Same thing with Anthony Fasano and Martellus Bennett. Yeah, so that's Roquan Smith. I'm really high on him, and of course your boy Vita Vea. I don't have to talk about him anymore. You guys heard me talk about him. I'm not going to drill you guys' head with that anymore. Next guy. This is another guy that I mentioned him last night on Mark's show. I mentioned him very briefly because his name is Quentin Nelson, offensive guard from Notre Dame, from Jalen Smith's school. Now, the biggest thing I can say about Quentin Nelson, both him and Will Hernandez are the top guards in his draft, period. Now, I said it last night, I'm going to reiterate again. The league does not value offensive guards, nor really offensive linemen in the first round in general. I don't know why, because you got to have a solid line for any running back to play well in this league. I don't care if you're as good as Zeke or if you're the sorriest player that's on the practice squad. Like, you have to understand that the line has to make holes for you. Yes, you have to have the vision and the ability to get through these holes yourself all day. But that line, if that line is able to push these defensive guys back and create holes for you, I mean, that makes all the difference in the world. I mean, then you can do different things in your offense. One thing about the Cowboys, they got too cocky. That's the reason, and I'm going to go into that too. I don't want to get off topic. I'll go back into that. But anyway, Quentin Nelson, offensive guard, Notre Dame. He's projected to be in the first round, obviously. 6'5", 330 pounds. Now, you put either him or Will Hernandez in this offense at guard, and that is all contingent upon if the Cowboys keep Jonathan Cooper, which I don't think they will. And if they did, he'd be very cheap. It's not like you're gonna break the bank with him because he's, like I said, he's not a starter, and he's literally a rotational player. Now you get Will Hernandez or Quentin Nelson in here. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can plug either one of these guys in right on that left guard spot, and let me tell you something. Even if they were halfway decent, you put them in between a healthy Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick. Oh Lord. I mean, then we will be back again being the best offensive line in the league. Because the Eagles trying to creep up there, trying to, knocking on our door. So we have to make sure that we keep this line solid because you want Zeke to be good, and they're going to run Zeke in the ground anyway, but you want to make sure that you keep him from getting hurt too because that's your bread and butter right there. And Ezekiel Elliott, and I already know the way he's feeling emotionally right now, he's going to shut all these critics up. And all this talk from these different people and stuff, and all these analysts and stuff out here talking crap about the Cowboys. Yeah, some of it is factual, but at the end of the day, I know these players get tired of it because they're the ones playing on the field. And as a man, and every one of my male subscribers, you guys can attest to this. As a man, you get tired of people just coming at your character, coming at your ability every day. What you gonna do? You're gonna go out there. You got to put up a shut up, and that's how you shut these people up. Because you don't want to be violent. I'm not going to promote violence. I wouldn't do that. But again, like I said, you got to show it on the field. You show them that you belong in this league, they're going to be like, oh, okay, so the Cowboys back with a vengeance. See, this is what we have to do. Now, in my ranting video that I know some of you guys watched, I want you to understand that as fans, listen up, y'all. Cowboy fans, I need y'all to have a more positive attitude about this team going forward. Yes, I know that we suffered a lot. I know that we haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s. I understand that we only have a couple of playoff wins. Again, we have to support this team because if you do not support the team, then where are we? You don't want to be like the Doo-Doo Browns. I'm just thinking about that. Anyway. Again, people love to hate the Cowboys. That's always going to be the case, whether we win, lose, or draw. Everybody loves or hates Jerry Jones, whether we win, lose, or draw. It is what it is. We are America's team. We are in the forefront. We are always picked on. There's bias against us. We don't get penalty calls on us. And yes, it's frustrating as hell. Because if I was a player, it'd be hard for me to keep my mouth closed. And I can't even get mad at D-Law for saying what he said because, I mean, you, as a man, like, you know what I mean, that's your integrity. You know what I mean? Like, you out here busting ass every day, sacking quarterbacks or scoring touchdowns, and you putting your blood, sweat, and tears out there on the floor and on the field, and you got people out here shaming you. Like, I get it. It's difficult, and some of us, you guys got to look at it from their perspective too. Being in the NFL is not as glamorous as you think it is. Yes, you got money, you got the cars and the women and whatever, and the fame, but it's more to it than that. That's just the surface. When you get up underneath of that, it's a price that you pay. There is a price that you pay to be in that position. And like they say, the old saying, only the strong survive. And if you ain't strong, you're going to fall. And that's just the bottom line with that. All right, so the next person I spoke on him to, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is, and I know you guys heard me talk about him last night too. Calvin Ridley will be a good compliment. Um, Again, he's projected to be in the first round. Now, I don't think we're going to get a wide receiver in the first round, so he may not even be a factor. But I'm going to say it anyway. If he were to be on this team, there could be a place. He is a fast player. He's a great route runner. He can go up and get the ball. He's great in the slot. So he would be a great complement to Dez in our scheme. You got Dez on the outside. You got him in the slot. And then, you could put all three of them in there. Him, Terrence Williams, and Dez Bryant in the game. And the three wide receiver set. You got your tight end and your running back. Like, I'm telling you, like, we he would be good for this team. But the problem is to keep Terrence Williams in that scenario, you would have to get rid of Cole Beasley. Now, I love Cole Beasley. I don't want him to leave the team. But if for some whatever reason he wanted out of his contract and for some reason he didn't want to play for the Cowboys anymore, that's an option. Because you could plug him in where Cole Beasley is, and he, like I said, he would be a great compliment to Dez and Terrence. And I don't want to get rid of Terrence because he's a great blocker in the run game. But I know a lot of you guys don't like Terrence Williams because he's a body catcher or whatever. But yes, he makes mistakes sometimes. But if you look at the game tape, you will see a lot of those runs that Zeke had. Man, Terrence Williams was out there blocking. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I got the cotton mouth. Oh yeah, I want to shout out my co-star, Water. Water is very important. You got to drink water. All right, so going to the next person. So the last person I have tonight is, again, he's the main person I spoke on last night, Harold Landry. Now, if you guys get a chance, look up some of his college tape. He was a monster. He was out of Boston College. He's projected to go into the first round as well. A lot of people aren't really talking about him right now. But again, the combine is today and this week. So you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff on these players. And with their some of these guys have medical issues. So when their medical information comes out, it's going to be adjusted. Some of these players are going to drop. Some of them are going to rise. Now, this guy is 6'2", 225 pounds. So he's technically small for a defensive end in the NFL. Matter of fact, he's really small for a defensive end in the NFL. With that size and that frame that he is right now, if he were to stay at that, Cowboys would use him as a linebacker. See, in college, you're going against younger guys and weaker guys, and you can bull rush these guys and get through the line and stuff like that. But them little schoolyard games are not going to work in the pros. So the thing about it, when you get to the pros, you banging heads against grown men, and these guys been in the league for a long time, and these offensive linemen done seen some stuff. So whatever moves you're trying to do, you got to harness what you have. Yes, the good thing that he has that great athleticism and he has long arms, but the problem is you gotta come with some ability to move and do some other things. You gotta be able to throw some spin moves in there. You gotta be able to, not only bull rush, but be able to get around that corner, because once that offensive lineman get his hands on you, it's over for you. Now, if you remember when DeMarcus Ware in his rookie season when he came in from Troy, he wasn't that great either. You know what I mean? He had to learn different moves. All he did was bull rush. But again, you have to have multiple things that you do. You have to switch it up, because again, just like you watching tape on them, they are watching tape on you. And as they're watching tape on you, you have to be able to counteract the things that they're doing. Because if you're not able to counteract what they're doing, then what you're doing is you're not gonna get past anything. That's another thing that Taco Charlton had to learn too, because Taco Charlton, again, some of you guys don't like him, but again, you guys got to be patient, because Taco Charlton, yes, we got him in the first round, but remember, we picked that number 27. at that point in the draft, I mean, most of those anything to me, anything after 25 is a second round pick in my eyes. So technically, he was a second round pick. But again, give him a chance. You know, this off season, and he'll be able to develop and learn more under Leon Lett and Rob Marinelli, and you know, and you can get a new guy in here too. But with this guy, I mean, he's an option because if you like Vic Beasley, he's definitely he's like a carbon copy of Vic Beasley. He's long, he's very speedy, he's got that athletic ability, and he's one of the best pure pass rushers in this draft. That's why I said the only knock on him is that he needs to work on his run game, his run game rushing. But you know, on a pass play, he's gonna get to that quarterback, believe that or not. You know what I mean? But because of his athleticism, that gives him the opportunity to grow into the player that Cowboys or whatever team that drafts him needs. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to make him bulk up because he's only 225, and that's, like I said, that's small for a defensive end for the National Football League. So he in his senior year, and it might be some medical stuff come on him for his ankle, but his senior year he only played 9 games due to his ankle injury. But he still had 38 stops, 8.5 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. So, I mean, that's not bad considering that you were injured. But, again, we'll see what happens in the combine for a lot of these players. Now, we'll like I said, we'll see what happens in the combine with these players this week. We'll be able to better understand where we are with these guys and where they're going to get picked at. Because like I said, some are going to drop, some are going to raise, some are going to stay put. But I think, in my opinion, we either need to get that linebacker in the first round, we need to get a defensive tackle primarily, because we need a big fat guy in the middle. Like a fire hydrant, like Vita Vea. Roquan, Vita Vea, and I wouldn't mind getting getting an offensive guard. Either one of those 3 positions that are available in the first round, I'm cool with personally. Now I'm pretty sure you guys are going to comment on what you like in the first round. Let me know. We can compare. But I know that I'm just thinking about what the Cowboys are going to do, not necessarily what I think, but what I think kind of ties into what they're going to do anyway. So, believe it or not, I'm going to be right on at least one of these picks. So, and there's a lot of depth in this draft, so it's really no need for us to move up or shift around, only in the first round. Because once we get through the first round, the rest of the rounds, I mean, there's some great players scattered throughout this draft. And again, with 10 picks, Cowboys are going to do some things. So, I mean, if that don't excite you guys, it should. And the draft is going to be in Dallas this year, so I don't know. We're supposed to be making a trip up there. We'll see what happens. But, again, that's what I have on these draft prospects. Now, I want to say real quickly at the end of this video. So, as you know, some news came out today. The team is, I don't know the truth in this or not, but bye-bye Orlando Scandrick. So word came out that he's either going to be cut or traded. Now, I want to know what you guys think about that. Now, me personally, I look at it as cheaper to keep him because they're not really. Orlando Scandrick's like $3 million. Like, he's getting a little bit above the veteran minimum anyway. And I know that their reasoning behind it is because of his injury history, and I get it. And it may be his last hurrah. I mean, it doesn't matter to me one way or another. I'm not going to cry too much if he does leave the team. But I know that he's been a lifelong Cowboy, and I know that, like, when he leaves, you're not going to have any veterans in that secondary at all. Like, I'm talking about, like, long-time veterans in that secondary at all. You're going to have all young guys. I mean, hell, I think, Jeff Heath and Byron Jones are going to be the senior guys back then. That's crazy because they've only been on the team for 4 years, 3-4 years. So that's crazy. But we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, if they do trade, I wonder what they're gonna get for him. Probably nothing higher than a fifth round pick, or maybe another player. Maybe they could get a swing tackle out of him from another team. I don't know, but that's that. Then I don't know when it was filmed, but I was just looking at Undisputed, and they had Snacks Harrison on there talking about, out of all people, the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you don't even play for the Dallas Cowboys. You're a rival team. I didn't think that he would ever say anything nice about the team. So they asked him two key things. The first thing they asked him about Dez. And they asked him, well, first of all, they asked him about his own team, about Eli and Odell Beckham. Now, the smart thing to do is not to throw any of your players under the bus or say anything negative about your fellow teammates in a news article or anything, because the media is going to use that. Trust me, I know. I got a broadcast communications degree, so medias can be monsters. They can take anything that you say and just twist it and just make it even if you didn't mean it like that, they will take what you said and just literally just headlines. So you got to be careful what you say. Now, he was smart. He didn't throw his quarterback, or he didn't throw Odell under the bus, but when they asked him about the Cowboys, or as he said it, the Cowgirls, whatever. See what their record was this past year. But anyway, I asked him about Dez, and they asked him, did he think that Dez was still elite? And in his words, verbatim, he said, yeah, Dez is definitely one of the number one wide receivers in this league still. And then they were like, well, and then I guess Skipper, of course, hating ass Shannon Sharp, said, but he hasn't showed it. He was like, you got to understand that this is what he said, and this is the same thing I've been saying. He said, Damon Snack Harrison said about this, he said, look, I don't think that they're using him right or using him enough. They're not using him right. Now, if you got a player from another team, I'm sorry, not only another team, but a rival team, saying this about a player on your team, other players already know and still think that Dez is a great receiver. And he is. Now, again, he's had some drops, and a lot of that has to do with his chemistry with Dak and the lack thereof. But like Dez said in his 103.5 The Fan, or whatever that station is, when they asked him about what's going on, and he was talking about like distractions and clutter and things getting in the way. I don't know what he meant by that. I might have to look more into that to see if I can find out what that is. But whatever it was some things hindering him this year. And I hope that the Cowboys don't give up on him. I hope they keep him another year just to see. Because like I said, Dez been on this team since 2010. And it's very rare that he didn't produce outside of this past season. So again, you don't just become this great player and all of a sudden you suck. That just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, you're going to retire early. You're just not going to play football again. Because at that point, you just got to put up your cleats. But that's not the case. This boy can still catch the ball. He can still run over these defenders, and he can still do his thing. So at the end of the day, let's just see what happens. And if you have a defensive lineman from a rival team with confidence in a wide receiver that is for a different team, come on now. Cowboy fans, you can't be that hard on them either, man. Because you got to understand that, like, Dez is still respected in this game. These other teams still respect him. Now, what they don't respect is the Cowboys' inability to beat them. Why? Because we are too goddamn predictable. We are predictable. Like, they know what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, before we do it, and how we do it. So at the end of the day, they got to do, again, it just goes back to the coaching. The coaching staff, they get too lax. So what happens, as I reiterated about this offensive line, We had a solid offensive line for a couple of years now. You know, when we had that 13-3 season, you come back this past season and they were just thinking in their head like, look, we ain't got to make changes. The hell? Jason Garrett, you graduated from Princeton, dude. You should know better than that. I don't care if you had a undefeated season and you won the damn Super Bowl, you still have to make changes that next year. One, because you're going to have different people on the team. People are going to watch tape on you all off season, and they're going to learn your tendencies, and that's exactly what they did with Dak. They learned his tendencies. They know what he was good at. They know what he was mediocre at. So again, you have to change. And again, it starts with the team taking this team and making it Dak friendly, and not from what we had with Tony Romo. Once this team switches the scheme to Dak and it's fully Dak's team, and he can implement the things that are his strengths and work for him, then and only then will we will succeed. And again, I'm gonna say it one more time. We have to make changes on these plays and how we go about this team on a daily and a weekly basis, because these other teams out here, they are figuring us out. They are knowing what we're doing, and you got to switch it up. You got to change it up. And in my opinion, that is the reason why we can't go farther in the offseason. We can't go farther in the offseason simply because of the simple fact that when we get to the playoffs, everybody's playing their heart out. During the season, sometimes players may take some plays off. They may do this, they may do that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to playoffs, all that goes out the window. You playing your heart out, and you're trying to get every edge on that team that you're playing against. So you have to make adjustments to the game. Look at the damn Super Bowl. I hate to keep going back to the Eagles, but look at the Super Bowl. Look what they did. Look what both teams did. They both of them did trick plays. Not saying that you have to go into the season doing a lot of trickery, but you got to switch shit up. Because if you don't change it, if you don't hide your coverages, if you don't do these things, you're going to be a losing team every year. Yes, we technically didn't have a losing season, but it wasn't a season where we made it to the playoffs either. And this is the reason why, and it oh my God, it irritates me as a fan. I know it does you guys too. When you're watching First Take and Undisputed and all these other little sports talk shows, and what are they doing? They are bashing the Dallas Cowboys any way that they can. Even when we're not in the news, they're saying something about Jerry. They're saying something about Dez. They're saying something about Dak. They still talking about Zeke. And Zeke ain't even been in the news. So, and then you got other players out here getting in car accidents, hitting women and stuff like this. And where's TMZ at now? TMZ was all over Zeke Elliott last year. That's the thing that makes me mad, because we are America's team and because we are the forefront of everything, it seems like. The innovation of the NFL. When you think of NFL, that's what it is. So at the end of the day, we're going to be scrutinized every damn day. So when they say it's hard to be a Cowboy fan, it is hard to be a Cowboy fan. And and it is what it is. You again, in order for this to stop, as a team, they're going to have to come in there this offseason and work hard. They're going to have to mesh, and they're going to have to be cohesive. Dak and Dez got to be on point. I'm talking about on point like him and Romo was. And they can do that because Dak is an accurate thrower, but they got to get on point. They got to get on point. Dez got to know what's going on in the game. He can't be getting flustered by what the defensive guy's doing, what the refs ain't doing, because at the end of the day, you got to win for yourself. Because like DeMarcus Lawrence said, he was getting pulled and dragged down, and what the refs weren't doing nothing. If the refs don't like the Cowboys, ain't nothing you can do. You gotta just play. You gotta play your game, because if you play your game and you don't talk and you keep your mouth closed and you play and you prove to these people by winning, that's how you prove. You don't say nothing. You don't say anything out of your mouth. You prove that you belong in this league and you belong on this team, and you belong having all that money, and you belong being getting the person that's getting the high praise by showing out on that field. You show out on that field, then everything's all good. So as I digress, that is one of the biggest things that we have to work on as a team. Show some consistency. Be able to make adjustments when a team is attacking you this way. And that's why everybody kept saying Dak was a dink and dunk player. That boy can throw the ball deep. The problem is you got to take what the defense give you. If the defense is playing 8 yards off the damn ball, what you going to do? You can't throw it deep because you're going to throw an interception because they're covering everybody. They're giving you the underneath. So when they give you the underneath, utilize that. Throw some wrinkles in there. You know what I mean? Like, do some play action. Fake the handoff to Zeke. Let Dak run for 20 yards because that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna hold you, and they're gonna give you that cushion. But you gotta manipulate that. We're gonna have Zeke back, so make that boy run and make him eat. So I'm not gonna keep talking y'all ear up on that, but that's all I have with that. Thank y'all for watching. It's your boy E2 Blue. Until next time. Oh yeah, forgot. Thank you for all my subscribers that have subscribed. And I'm sorry if I haven't responded to some of your comments. I will. I just haven't had a chance to. But again, anything you want me to talk about, or if you have anything to comment about based on what I was talking about tonight, just hit me in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button to support your boy. This is E2 Blue. Until next time, peace.